Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Swaytoven, and in this video, someone actually asked for some music philosophy, and I think I have the perfect topic because this is something that I've been feeling to want to work on is making my own 808s. The reason why is because the low end is more than just a support, is more than just the foundation of your project. It can imply melody, and it's something that I feel like it was always hard to talk about because I couldn't put it into words. So there's gonna be a point to where you probably is noticeable to where I'm like probably reading from notes, right? But like because none of that stuff matters at the moment, it's always been something that's felt, especially when it comes to the low and when it comes to music, when it comes to vibrations, right? There's a reason why I call myself Swaytoven. Not because of Zaytoven, that one producer, but because of Beethoven. I used to play the piano when I was younger. I used to have to study theory and technique and all that stuff, right? But theory was casual, smashable, boring. You know what I mean? Yeah, theory's important to learn if you're really trying to drill it into your head, but like you don't need to learn something you feel. Music, right? It's fundamental. There's a little double entendre there because 808s, right? Everybody's talking about some harmonics, but like nothing to really be like confused about. We're just gonna understand how like it speaks to us, but it's just, Beethoven was deaf, going on to the end of his little escapade of making music. You know what I'm saying? To the point where he actually had to feel, like he had to feel the music. That's why the stuff was so loud and powerful because he really had to feel the music. He was vibing out. He was resonating with it. Me personally, I call myself Swaytoven because I hear stuff that, and he's deaf by the way. I hear stuff that's not quite there in the melody, and I wasn't able to put it into words. But when I start off with an 808, there are just hidden notes. There's hidden melody in 808s. When 808s have a proper amount of, like, I'm gonna say processing, but like saturation and just the mixing and just shaping of them, where it's just like it's more than just supporting the melody, it implies it. Now when it comes to melody, I think having an open mind is absolutely powerful. I mean, I'm out there driving for Scamazon, wasting my goddamn life putting boxes on people's porches and sometimes their garage or side doors. But it's just like I'll start humming. And it's just like if you don't have an open mind to start humming and like even remember it or just start grooving and moving, right? Then maybe it's too far gone. Maybe not, but it's just like you want to be able to feel it, you know. And when that just comes like to melody basically, and it's just where's the foundation at? Like I wake up how I just did like not that long ago and started making this video. I could have started making a song and it probably could have been pretty clean. For all I know, I probably dreamt about the melody, which I didn't. It was something totally different. And it's just time to like really like just outsource that, just get something out. Your mind is still fresh, well rested, But yeah, I mean, I have different ways that I think that practicing music could help or whatever. I think that sentence was like fucking backwards, but yeah. But the 808, besides just thinking about melodies and humming them and stuff like that, the 808 offers the ability to agency to like be its own thing, to breathe life into its own self, right? Because when you're making a beat, you don't really need a melody, right? It's a beat, right? You're pen tapping back in the day, or at least that's what I used to do and stuff like that. We didn't have 808s. We had the kick drum, which was your palm, and the hi-hats, which was that, and the snare, which was when you slam the whole pencil on the table. You know what I mean? There was no 808s unless I think you use your mouth or something like that. But there was no melody. You know what I'm saying? The harmonics is what I'm going to use, like the sound of like whatever you were using changed, like from a pencil to a pen that was hollow to a wooden stick, to depending on what the surface you were even like using it on. It all changed its frequencies and all that stuff, so the vibe was always different in a way. If you were doing it on a desk, right? If the desk was empty or if the desk had all those books in it, so it's just like there's certain factors that change just the beat in the side, the percussions in the beat itself. That doesn't just mean that it's just a beat. It also implies melody based off harmonics. Because the thing is, like, you're harmonizing with that, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're making it from scratch and not some AI, like, you're already supposed to be in tune with that, in sync with that. So it's like, the way I see it, since I haven't made a philosophy video in a while, I've been making my own songs. You know, so it's just like, you know, understanding that the idea goes further than just the beat also is very important, is because I could start making an 808 pattern that's like nice, it has a good feel to it, and then I could just make the lyrics off of that. I don't record that, but like, I wish I had, like, every single time that I make a song, because it's just like, that's how it happens. Like, I will skip past like melody making. Like, I might just make a couple things and then I'll mix and match what I'm about to add to the beat. Excuse me. Just based off of like the feel, not because that I am following some type of workflow that I use from like a how to make a beat tutorial, which is important because you lose all type of just intuition when you do that. I used to like watch those videos because I was like, how are these type of beats supposed to sound? I like making stuff in minor harmonic. That's it now. Right. Speaking of harmonics, I just like making stuff in minor harmonic. I don't make stuff in major, minor, natural, none of that. Minor harmonic. That's what I'm doing. All right. Yeah, I got my own little formula or whatever, but I don't even listen to other music. Yeah. If I were to really give a philosophy, I don't even listen to other music. Everything's coming from like within. You know what I mean? Knowing and trying to think about how it's heard from the outside, because the thing is that also how I think about that low end, by the way. You know, just cars passing through, blasting music, and all you hear is 808. Clean, fresh 808. You know what I'm saying? Better than mine. And it's just like, you know, you got to think about that people, how people are trying to feel it. You know, they're at the end of the day, they're feeling that low end, they're feeling that 808, right? And it's just like, if they were to like listen to an instrumental of it, of songs and stuff like that, they want to feel that they can like even put their own little vibe on there, their own lyrics or something like that. You know what I mean? Which contradicts something else that I believe, is because I think that if a song is well, nice and complete, there shouldn't be space for someone else to feel that they can like do something on it. But I am talking about then if the lyrics are already on there after at that point. But anyway, like, and I'm saying that like I make complete songs for people. I don't. Listen, I could like make songs for anybody. You know what? I got the song book right here. I be writing them down, bro. I be writing. This isn't even the only one. I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people got these. I got them busting out the back. But it's a language, you know? You speak to it, it speaks to you. Speaking to other people, it's communication. It's more than just these notes that are on like the MIDI, right? You have to feel it first for it to be easy to actually execute. And you know, I'm talking all this talk, but it's like, if I play it, it's not gonna sound good, because I was trying to make my own 808 from scratch. The reason why is because I'm getting tired of listening to the same 808s. Yeah. And less of like it being like just me feeling this. The reason why like this is even making any type of sense, or like it should make sense, is because the bass holds more than one frequency. I said I was gonna start talking like I'm reading from some notes, bro. You know what I mean? But like, those are those harmonics, those hidden notes, and I think it's important that I show you, is because opposed to like a very, you know what, opposed to a sine wave, because that's what everything is a goddamn sine wave that just looks a little bit different. It's just a sine wave shaped into a different form. But like, literally, quite actually, let's just throw down a sine wave and we can just see what I'm talking about. We can see the language that, you know, I am talking. We can see the waves speaking. What? He's crazy. Your mom's crazy. That don't even matter like where I do it at. And now let's see it in the parametric equalizer. Alright. No, we can't hear it. Turn that off. too. Let's let it go out for longer so we can hear it, or so we can actually see it. Look how simple that looks, right? It's not really talking to us any other way, right? It's just a straight line up. Now this is a sine wave. All right, now I was making my own 808. Okay, it's also a sine wave. This is what it looks like in Serum. It doesn't sound that great, so I'm not even gonna let you hear it. But it looks close to like it's actually looks close to like a square, honestly. You see in Pigments how it looks like this, more circular. Doesn't really matter, but let's look. Now we actually have to actually listen to it and see it, how it's talking to us in the frequency range. Alright, that's just an 808 that I was trying to make. It could sound better, but we see that, and I could change like the release of it. It would change the feel of it. I might not even want it to sound so driven with saturation, which I did right there, but let's change the release to make the notes. We see it posted a sine wave that there's just more notes, basically. That's what that is, basically. Like, because like that sine wave is just a straight up fundamental. That's a note. It's just one thing. If we can go to the right thing, boom, right there. Fundamentals right there. All right, let's pretend that our 808's hitting on the same note. All right, but it's also hitting on other notes. Alright, but they're not as prominent because they're just harmonics. They're like hidden notes. That's what I hear from. That's where I hear, ooh, I can put like something right in there, and I hear like melodies and stuff like that. And then off of those melodies, counter melodies. And but then it also depends on like how the 808 is. It's because if the 808 sounds like this, sounds more powerful. It just sounds more full. Changes the vibe. Like I said, I still need to do some processing on mine, but it's just, we can look at the how it's speaking to us. Two different looking ways that this low end is speaking to us, so to speak. It maybe not be easy to hear or even to discern from, but like at least at the high end, you can see the high end is lower right there, opposed to this, the high end is higher. Now that can cause a problem because when you start actually trying to add notes, it might start clashing and stuff. But you know, it doesn't really matter. It does matter. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to explain like how I like feel it into words, because it's not like easy. Anything through 100 and like 1,000 is basically what people are feeling, or like the melody becomes more audible. So it's just like, you know, that's when the 808 starts just becoming more alive, right? You can use the 808 to be more or less supportive and more of like the main part of the project, so that people can like feel it. That's what I like to do. So, you know, saturation basically reveals all that, because if I were to saturate the 808s, I could saturate mine, I could saturate this one, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna saturate mine. It's already saturated. In fact, I'm gonna just show you when it's not saturated. I suppose I'm gonna like, it changes the waveform, and the saturation helps it kick through, right? It helps it um be more heard throughout the other notes, but the other notes shouldn't be as loud, I suppose, if you're. Look at that. Man, it's really right. You know what I'm saying? But then that's when you like have to try to like really split that up, because the 808's supposed to be mono, and those harmonics you want to be stereo. So it's like you'd have to like clone it. Into 3, maybe like. Doesn't sound that great, but that's what you would do if you wanted to cut through like speakers more. But this sounds so too much saturation. Like, even though I could have done it on one thing, it's just like use a second oscillator and change that one. But I cloned it, but I think I'm talking too much. Maybe I'm not making any type of sense. I'm terrible at this.